but I think I was really comfortable of the concept of living in a vehicle because of my travels. And I don't want to like minimize what anyone is going through around the world because everyone is going through so much, especially now. But it's amazing to see people's spirit just come alive and persevere. And you want to continue to help them, but just being able to recognize that, like, wow, I can exist with less. I don't need so much. It's, what is the American dream? So all of those things like really helped me like wrap my mind around this, that I'm going to be waking up parked on a side, on the street or in the forest, depending. I'm going to wake up in a vehicle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Modern Day Unicorns, where we interview people who are just doing awesome or just different things to give other people an idea of what is possible. Today, I have Anna on the line, and she's going to walk us through some of the interesting things that she's doing in the lifestyle that she has chosen for her life. So, without further ado, Anna, please welcome and tell us about yourself.
Hi. First of all, thank you for having me. This is very nice to be a part of. I haven't seen Abigail in forever, so this is kind of surreal for me. But I'm Anais Monique. I'm a writer, I'm a nomad, and I'm a podcaster and a creative. I've been nomadic for almost like all my life, just because of the nature of the way I was raised with my mom and I. And writing kind of saved me as a kid. So now I blog and copyright for people and create content. And I just got into writing pre-production for podcasts over the pandemic.
That's awesome. That's also, you said a lot of things there, which also has my brain like, what? So this is great. This is great. All right. So let's see. Where to start? I feel like you have a lot of experience, and one of the things, as you know, we haven't spoken to each other in a while, but we've been following each other on social media. And so one of the things that I definitely know you've been a part of, you were like a flight attendant, and I don't even know what the culture's called. I don't want to say it wrong, but I know that you did some van life stuff, and
van life in it.
you're making products and natural products. You're doing a lot. Would you mind taking us through some of the ventures that you've been on? And like, I know a lot of things have shifted and changed due to COVID, but can you kind of walk us through how these many ventures came to be, if you will?
So I think because I was already kind of used to moving around with my mom and I, just as a kid, being a flight attendant wasn't like a big stretch. And I was already moving city to city for different things. I'm a big believer in like, alternative lifestyles, counterculture. Not that I'm like trying to advocate for the devil, but I do believe in, being a jack of all trades, and that's not always what is uplifted. You're supposed to be a master of one. And it's just like, well, actually, you can kind of like pull all these little different things from, different areas of your life or different interests that you have. So I think bouncing around led me to being a flight attendant. I was a flight attendant pre-COVID for about 4.5 years, and that was really fun. So I racked up some countries under my belt. And then I just, you have a lot of free time, and you're also very tired as a flight attendant, but, so that gets your mind moving when you just have all this downtime. I had the luxury of being bored sometimes, even though I was in these luxurious, these luxurious spaces. So, I got a rash under my arm, which caused me to want to cure it. So I started creating natural products. I was traveling everywhere. So I was like, you know what, let me document this. So I started writing a blog. It was really just like what I wanted to do at that point, what my interests were. And I feel like that's such a privileged thing to say, that I just, I had the privilege of being bored, and I was able to have space to dream. And then if you're bold enough to dream, and you can be organized to do, then just do it. And just do it over and over again. till you start making money with it.
I know that's right. That's amazing. So with that being said, the things that you're able to do as a travel agent, you're also
Or
doing
a
a
flight
lot of,
attendant.
you're right. Yes, that was not travel agent. A flight attendant. You did some solo travel. You had the opportunity to travel solo. And I know that that is another culture within and of itself. Being able, especially being like a Black female solo traveler. I live abroad, but I have not jumped on that bandwagon and be like, I'm gonna go. Well, COVID kind of jacked that up as well, not being able to go anywhere, but I haven't built up, I guess, like the confidence to do that. So what do you say to those individuals, especially, females that want to travel, want to experience things, not necessarily for the sake of being alone, but not waiting for friends to round up their money and their time and everything like that so they can go and have this experience?
Yeah. It was my like first year of being a flight attendant, and you meet a lot of great people doing that job. A lot of great women and men and non-binary people are flight attendants. And there was one person that I really wanted to get to know better, and I was like, "Girl, let's go on a trip to just like a layover, our own personal layover to Montego Bay." And at the last minute, she canceled. So like, I'm literally like packing my bag, about to go to the airport. I mean, that's classic flight attendant. You can cancel last minute like that. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm gonna go. I'm still gonna go. And I just thought in my mind, I was like, okay, it'll be like a writer's retreat, because I was really trying to take writing seriously for the first time in my life at that point. And I kid you not, I get there. It's the best experience. I stayed in an Airbnb and I meet a publisher. Of all people, I meet a publisher who was also on vacation. It was a sort of apartments, not apartment style, but the man had turned his big house into these little apartments. So we had the whole backside. So we're literally just her and I are sharing a J on the beach, and she's talking about her publishing company to me and just like encouraging me to continue to write. Black woman too. Like you just gonna make it up. And I was like, you know what? I need more of these experiences. Like I can't be afraid to go anywhere alone and take a chance on my own company, and being able to curate my own experience and meet new people. Because you're never really alone when you travel solo. Like you might get on the flight alone, but then you meet somebody like your neighbor if you're into that. On the plane, and you meet somebody in the airport, you can meet somebody at a cafe. I just so happened to meet someone at my Airbnb and had the best time, so that kind of kicked it off for me to travel solo a lot more.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I really like that. I think once people are over kind of like the doom and gloom of what could happen and you could get kidnapped and all this other stuff, I think that
Yeah.
it can be a freeing experience. So we'll see. One day I'll take that, that the additional plans to be just like, all right, cool. I'm gonna be over here.
You got this. You got
it. Okay, so we've transitioned from being a flight attendant, traveling solo, and now, like, or not now, but then you started van life. Where did
Yeah,
that?
the idea, I mean, was to work on a plane and travel in a van or live in a van, but COVID.
So, but where did the idea and the concept? And I know you went through a whole process. I think I followed you as you were looking to buy a van and then tricking it out and all this other stuff.
Oh, thanks.
So give us a brief overview about that. So it's just like, okay, I want to do this, and these are the things that I need to do. And what was like your first completed trip in the van, or what was the plan for it? Like, because I know some people live in it permanently. Some people just like it's a like a RV, like people just I just want to go for the weekend and come back type thing. So what was your ideal for that?
My idea was to like for real like live in it full time, and it be like we call it when you're a flight attendant, they're crash pads, so you could have like 10 roommates, all bunk bed style. It's just like this 2-bedroom apartment. Sometimes in New York it's 1 bedroom, 15 people, just depending on the city. But I wanted it to be my crash pad, but my own space that I don't have to share. I had heard of a pilot later on after I was doing my research with van life. He had one in Spain, because he lived in Malaga, a city far away from our airport, in Spain. And he's like, yeah, I have an RV. It's my crash pad. And I was like, it's like confirmations were happening everywhere. So I knew it was for me. But I think I was really comfortable of the concept of living in a vehicle, because of my travels. And I don't want to like minimize what anyone is going through around the world, because everyone is going through so much, especially now. But it's amazing to see people's spirit just come alive and persevere. And you want to continue to help them, but just being able to recognize that, like, wow, I can exist with less. I don't need so much. It's, what is the American dream? So all of those things like really helped me like wrap my mind around this, that I'm going to be waking up parked on a side, on the street or in the forest, depending. I'm going to wake up in a vehicle. And I had those moments sometimes where I'm like, what am I doing? You're waking up and you're like, what am I doing? But yeah, so it took a long time just to mentally sort of prepare for that, but that was going to be my ideal, just to be full-time in it. I mean, you have your weekenders that only do it on the weekends, or some people do it like 6 months out of the year. But when I was a flight attendant, I'm not sure if I'm going to return. That was the goal, is to be living in it, living in a van, traveling on a plane, working on a plane. But now, it's transition. I feel like it kind of saved me, low key, like, because, COVID hit and it's like, oh, okay. I knew immediately I didn't have a job anymore. So, and I was living with my grandparents at the time, because now I'm based in LA. And I was like, I can't go back there. I could compromise them. You're just thinking, in the pandemic, we were in the height of it. We were thinking all the things. So I was like, okay, at least I have a house out here, because homelessness is real. And, I want to kind of tie all of this in. It's really important for people to understand that there's levels to people living in their vans. And on one end of the spectrum, you have these people that don't travel and they're living in RVs and they're on the street, and, it's not a good situation, but it's a step up from them being off the sidewalk. And right now that's being criminalized. And then on the spectrum that I have the privilege to exist on, is someone who can move around and can travel, and so I definitely want to speak to both. But it did definitely save me. My first trip, my first trip, and this is just me being hippy dippy me, but it was when the van was completely empty. I would go on the PCH here in California. It's our Pacific Coast Highway. So it runs along the coast and the cliffs, and you get to see the surfers when you wake up in the morning. But there's little pockets along the PCH where you can park. And so I would park with like nothing in there but like a platform. And I'm still like working on the van. So I'm like doing metal work when I wake up in the morning. Like, yeah, so those are like some really like great memories that I have, just like building up the energy and the the physical space. I just came back from like a 4-month odyssey. So I'm still kind of like recovering from that. I'm missing my caravan, because it was the first time I got to travel in a caravan. But yeah, 4 months on the road, that was great. And just meeting this woman, we met this woman in Seattle, and Black woman, the look on her face when she saw all of us, because she met us all separately. We were coming to her booth, and she was like, wait, you know each other? Oh, wait, so you in a van too? She's like, oh my God, I'm vans. She's like, oh my God, y'all like people from the 60s. And it was just so cool. And like, I want people to see more of that, see our joy with living differently.
I'm really happy that you brought out a couple of things. Especially, I don't think that a lot of people get the time to reflect on the simple privileges that we do have. We get caught up in a bunch of other types or people's privileges, and we forget to the simple stuff. The fact that you having a van and living out of it is a choice, and that you have other opportunities and choices. And I know a lot of people can be just like, when it's not their option, or when they don't have the flexibility to do something different. So I appreciate you bringing out that point for people to be more thankful for the choices and the options that they have. Like, so for me, like I said, I just went full time, and the privilege or the opportunity that I have to be able to remain in the UAE is because my best friend is letting me stay in her spare bedroom,
Yes.
and you know what I'm saying.
Thank
So
you,
it's just
friends.
like, literally, it's just like, you know, outside of me going to get another job, which is not something that I wanted to do, the other opportunity would have been like, do you have the money to get a space? But having this opportunity, I'm very grateful because some people don't have those friends or the family to say, you can do X, which is another reason why I couldn't go back to the States. I couldn't do it
Mm.
to my family to say, this is
Mm.
what I want to do, but I can't be that burden on you there. I have different circumstances here that
Yeah.
allow me to be okay with being here that are way different at home. You know, people are paying rent, they are paying utilities, they are paying car insurance, they are needing health insurance. And those are things that I don't, it would be a lot more difficult for me to try to do the things that I want to do in the United States versus have an opportunity I do have here now. So I want to thank you for bringing that up because it's a very humbling experience, and make sure that you take at least half, if not full, of the advantage of the time that you have with the resources that you've been provided. So
Oh, it's a privilege.
absolutely. As we kind of move on, I wanna you spoke a little bit briefly about some of the businesses that you started due to just personal complications or whatnot. So I think you have two other.
I did not start a business, but
Okay.
I've been building up like little communities just to gauge people's interest in what I'm doing.
Okay.
And I think right now I'm at the point like pull the trigger,
Mm-hmm.
because like, I think I underestimate um how good I am at something. Like I know that I enjoy it, but I'm like, is this something that someone else would enjoy? And so I really appreciate when my friends and my extended network, or the people on Instagram or you notice, and it's like, okay, I'm not just out here talking to a void when I blog or when I make certain content, and that people are like, oh, I know that you did this and you did that and you did that, and I'm just like, oh wow, okay, I exist. Okay, cool. So I think right now, what I'm doing is I'm taking all of those interests, and I'm trying to expand on them now and make them official. So what you saw me do was I did like these experiments online with natural products. Like I said, I had this horrible rash under my arm when I was flying just a few years ago. And it was so bad that it was like literally pussing and
Mm.
sweating through my uniform. And it was all due to me trying to like find a natural deodorant when they're not really natural. I had to find that out myself and like research and poring over like different text. And I was like, I'll just make my own. I done read enough articles now to know like what to start to try and put together. And I ended up healing my arm. I
Mm.
never went to the doctor for it, but I healed it. The scar is no longer there. Um, and it was under both. So I ended up doing experiments like, hey, like let me gauge interest in this. And I gave away like 50 samples. And it's like, I was like having everybody rate it via Instagram and in email, and so grateful that people even cared. And again, I'm just underestimating that it was a good thing to create. So now I'm at the point where I think more people need access to this information. It took
Mm.
me like tons of hours just for that one product to figure out what ingredients were good for what. And I'm like, okay, I can create a database of these things while I'm giving away deodorant. Because I mean, I think it's just one of those things where I feel like it should be free, but I need to turn my capitalistic key, I suppose, and say like people should pay for your time and your effort and your knowledge, but the information should be free. So I'm creating a database right now, that's for Plant Juice Box, where people can access all of the things that I was able to access and put it all together in one place. And it's through a BIPOC lens, or a BIPOC lens, and remembering where we come from and that natural remedies really do work. And it's just Western medicine that's trying to tell us that they don't. The other thing that I did, aside from my Curls and Carry-Ons blog, is I just wanted to be able to do something last year. Um, and I'm not saying that I'm an activist or anything like that, but I just wanted to do something. So I started a platform called Black Interest Caucus. And last year we spoke to over 75 people. We started over a few dozen accounts at Black banks, divesting from the white banks that don't lend to us. They lend to us 1% of the time. I still can't believe that statistic. They keep a fund for when they get sued for these malpractices. They keep a fund. So yes, it was just giving out that information, talking it out through caucus with other Black people. We also talked about reparations very thoroughly because it was news to me that most Black people in the U.S. Don't support reparations for us for what our ancestors went through. So yeah, it was a lot of discourse, and again, I don't pretend to be an advocate, but I just wanted to talk to people and, see how they were feeling, because I was feeling a lot of pain last year. So I wanted to make a space, a safe space, a brave space where they could get information on things that were relevant to us. So those are the two things maybe that you were referring to. I am relaunching Curls and Carry-Ons blog, and I'm going to get more consistent to that because, again, with me underestimating myself, I'm like, girl, you took a whole different brand during the pandemic from 2,000 followers to 25,000 followers. Why don't you do that for yourself? So I'm getting into that space. I'm trying to turn on the ignition to my, entrepreneur deep down inside. It's a lot of self-doubt, and I just want to be real about that. It happens. It's a lot of self-doubt. You have to self-motivate. You have to remain committed. And that's where I am right now. But it's exciting, like, to be able to gauge people's interest and you actually get positive feedback.
Absolutely. No, I can completely identify with that. I think every other day I'm just like, bro, should I get a job? Like,
seriously. I'm like, should I be a flight attendant again? It's too scary right now.
But I can completely relate and just say that I think there's always people watching. If it's one thing that I know, you will get those, those occurrences where people, I guess see you, and you're just like, wait a minute, what? I remember one experience that I had 3 years ago now, like literally it's 3 years, like in a day since I moved abroad. I was going home for Christmas, and I was on a flight, and a lady was like, "Excuse me." I was like, "Hi." She goes, "Are you Abby teaching afar?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I follow you on Instagram, and I was like, "What the heck?" So I say all that to say that there's always going to be somebody watching you. But what I would say to listeners is that, man, we have to. People say support, and they always assume that support is monetary, and it's not necessarily that, but it is like encouraging, sending a nice message, affirming people for their thing, because all of it, yeah, we're just out there, and sometimes you feel really exposed. So I want to commend you for all the things that you're going out on a limb to do, and say that you are seen. A lot of people just might not know that, what's going on and how to express it. But I would say to the listeners, it could be just a simple, just affirmation, like, you're doing a good job, keep trying. You're encouraging me, or a share, what is it, a retweet, whatever it is. It doesn't always have to be monetary.
It's so true. Thank you. I received that, and you're absolutely right.
Well, okay, so I warned you in the beginning that I would love for you to give just 3 tips. I'm going to let you customize those tips in any way that you want to for whomever may be listening, for whatever they're trying to do. But if you have 3 tips for anybody, please share them.
Yeah, I would say a big thing is networking. I really believe in your network is your net worth. Whether that means you need, to stay in someone's spare room, whether that means that, hey, do you know of any jobs available in your city? Because I want to travel to your city. Just anything. You never know. And like you said, you never know who's watching. So there's probably a lot of people just waiting to help you because they know that you're interested in this, you're good at that. The other thing I would say is have a savings. If you're not going to work, I mean, the world that we live in, have a savings account, have a nice savings account. Make sure you have a small budget so you can stretch that as long as you can, so that you can have an opportunity or a luxury to be bored and dream, and figure out what's next, or to travel or whatever it is. And I think the third thing is to just trust yourself. Like I said, self-doubt, whether it means solo traveling or starting a business and making it official, it really will keep you from doing a lot of different things. So yeah, just trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and you could literally never go wrong.
All those things are super true and relatable. Not that you would tell an untruth, but when it comes down to it, even with this podcast, like when you talk about networking, and one of the things that I want to bring to light is that literally your network are the people that are surrounding you, the people from your past, the people from your present. I don't think we've spoken in like 15 years, right?
Yeah.
But and it's like, so reaching out to like your network, a lot of the people that I've spoken to are people that I know or have known, and now we're just like, in just different places, different spaces. So don't be afraid to reach out to people because they're there. You know what I'm saying? And then savings, man. Like one thing that I've noticed lately, maybe not even lately, but when you have other people that just do things on a whim, and I know that my creativity has been crushed by having to go to a job. I know that I could not think as much as I wanted to, or obsess over something as much as I needed to, because I had to go to bed because I had to go to work, or I had to go to a meeting, or I forgot it. I forgot something, or I just lost the motivation or the time to be able to explore it. I didn't have any days. There were so many constraints. And now it's taken me time to even break off the layers of the constraints that I had when I had a job, to be able to think and to, okay, so I'm trying to break the habit of thinking and execution. Sometimes I feel like I just need to sit in my idea so that it can, do whatever it's doing and then execute. Too many times I'm just like, and I don't give it time to marinate. And it's hard, it's really difficult to break that cycle, to be just like, I have an idea, let's go. Instead of, I have an idea, let me think around that idea, let me plan that idea so I can execute in a better way. And what was your last point? What was your last
point? Man, trust your gut.
Trust okay, so yeah. So trusting your gut. I know for me, that's one thing, is that faith factor, to where and even within the trusting your gut, the only thing that I would add is giving yourself, when you have those other things, is giving yourself the opportunity to fail. We don't, it's the same thing when it comes to the money that people may have to take these opportunities to think more, is that we don't fail enough to experience or to be able to appreciate success, because failure for us is not, oh no, I failed, let me go stay with my parents. Oh no, I failed, let me go stay with my grandparents. Oh no, I failed, let me go stay with my friend. It's nothing after that. I failed, I'm homeless. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have.
That's the fear they try to put in you. They try to tell you if you don't work 12 hours a day, you'll be homeless.
But honestly, it's, for some people, that's real. That they feel like
very true.
There are, not that you should always have a safety net, but I feel like for our people, there are not many safety nets. I don't really have much underneath me to prevent me from not having the anxiety of failure.
Yeah.
But I need it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. You need the fire that it gives you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't have
the
a choice.
The desperation that is needed. And I feel like some of our other counterparts, you know, they get away with it because they have safety nets. But yeah, I'm going off on another tangent.
No, I loved it. It was all truth.
Once again, I want to thank you so much for your time, and this better have recorded because we're gonna have some problems with Zoom if it didn't. Anywho,
no, thank you. It's an honor to be in this space with you and watch you come in and developing something new for yourself. I mean, I've always romanticized being an expat. Like being a flight attendant is a very different thing than being an expat. So I just commend all that you're doing and all that you're exploring for yourself right now. It's amazing.
I encourage you to go ahead and do it. Being an expat has its privileges. I'll tell you that much. First thing, tax-free. Amen. But yeah, there's still many things that I have yet to explore, and I look forward to doing that now. Not necessarily just I was an expat educator, now I'm an expat business owner, which is another thing that I'm still learning. Like there's so much to learn and share. So I'm continuing to look forward to that trial and error for myself to be able to share. I'm trying to tell all my friends, like, leave, you know, leave, try something different. There's nothing, I won't say that there's nothing wrong, but I will say that there's other options, right? And having this experience prior to, you know, the whole settling down and having kids and all that other stuff is definitely something that I'm going to treasure forever. So yeah, but as for you, I really want you to share all of your social channels so that people want to follow or catch up on your journey. They have the opportunity to support and to, you know, continue to encourage you on your many projects.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Anais Monique. That's ANAIS MONIQ. And honestly, that's enough. If you find that, you'll find everything else.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'll put more information in the show notes that you shared with me. But once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and just listening to this conversation that we've had today. We want to encourage you to try something different, to not be afraid to fail, to network with the people that you know people and they know you, to encourage other people to go ahead and just, you know, continue to advocate for them and let them know that they are seen. If you are a unicorn, and you know anybody else that is a unicorn doing awesome, amazing, and or unusual things, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can go ahead and tag yourself or tag those individuals below, and we'll see you next time.